Hello, today will be all about our trip to Stockholm, Sweden. From Ivalo, we will be flying to Helsinki for a quick layover with a travel time of 1 hour and 30 minutes. It was an early start for us and the plan was to sleep through this flight. But how can one sleep through this beautiful sunrise? We grabbed Burger King for lunch during our layover and off we flew again to Stockholm. Travel time is 1 hour and 5 minutes. Sweden is 1 hour behind Finland. For the second time this trip, Jen's luggage was left behind, but this time she knew the drill. This will be our home for the next 4 days and 3 nights. Let's do a quick room tour. Our agenda for the first day was just to explore the area and have a good meal. We walked around the area, checked out IKEA, explored some more, yes, do you have cinnamon? Yeah, one cinnamon. What would you recommend? Nutella. Bought donuts for dessert. And didn't have to go far for dinner. Thai for tonight. Good thing there's one in the same block as our hotel. Good night, Stockholm. We'll explore more of you tomorrow. Good morning. Today is the last day of 2022 and the weather is looking really good. But first, breakfast. Our first agenda for the day is to visit Gamla Stan or the Stockholm Old Town. It is around 10 to 15 minutes from our hotel by foot, so come along and I'll bring you to a walking tour. The Swedish capital of Stockholm was acquired the nickname of Venice of the North because it is spread across the Baltic Sea archipelago of 14 islands connected by 57 bridges. Exploring Gamla Stan is like setting foot into the 16th to 18th century era, with its cobbled streets, colorful buildings, and architecture. Gamla Stan or Old Town is Stockholm's original city center and consists of an island and 3 islands. It is one of the largest and best preserved medieval city centers in Europe. As we explore Gamla Stan, we will be coming across several historic attractions. This is the Royal Palace of Stockholm, one of Europe's largest and most dynamic palaces. This is His Majesty the King's official residence and is also the setting for most of the monarchy's official reception. The palace has more than 600 rooms divided between 11 floors, with a state apartment facing the inner courtyard. Aside from the royal apartments, the palace also houses 3 museums: Gustav III's Museum of Antiquities, Museum Three Crowns, or the Draconer Museum that portrays medieval history, and the Treasury with the regalia. The Royal Palace is open to the public. A ticket per adult costs 190 Swedish krona or 30 New Zealand dollars during May to September, and 170 Swedish krona or 27 New Zealand dollars for the rest of the year. Children up to 6 years old are free, and special rates are available for students. Opening hours are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for May to September and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the other months. This is Storkyrkan, or the Stockholm Cathedral, the name for many historical events that changed Sweden and still does. The church is open to the public from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cathedral admission is 85 Swedish krona for adults, 65 Swedish krona for seniors, and free for 0 to 18 years old. Now let's continue to explore the colorful buildings and alleys of Gamla Stan. This is Torrestorget, the only main square in Gamla Stan but also the oldest square in the city, it being mentioned as early as 1420. These colorful buildings on the west side of the square are probably the most photographed part of the city. Also situated in the square is the Nobel Prize Museum. Nobel Prize Museum showcases exhibitions, school programs, lectures, and dialogues about the great issues of our time based on the Nobel Prize's unique combination of fields: natural science, literature, and peace. It is closed every 31st of December, so we'll be back tomorrow. Fee is 140 Swedish krona for adults. Rates differ for students, children, senior citizens, and groups. Gamla Stan is said to be an area of great contrast. Amidst the historical infrastructure and old buildings, there is a vast gastronomic options, from Swedish traditional bakeries and cafe to the modern international ones like Fridays, Ben & Jerry's, and Burger King, and lots of shopping opportunities too, it being a top tourist destination. We then tried to find the narrowest street in Gamla Stan, the Martin Trodsig Grand Alley. It is so inconspicuous that we almost missed it. The alley has 36 steps, with its narrowest part measuring 35 inches or approximately 90 centimeters. From Gamla Stan, we headed to our next stop, the Avicii Arena, the world's largest vertical building. It is one of Sweden's most beloved and visited arenas and an iconic part of Stockholm's skyline. Formerly known as Ericsson Globe, the arena has been named Avicii Arena not only as a tribute to one of the greatest Swedish artists of this generation, but it also now serves as a symbol and hub for initiatives focused on young people's mental health. The arena serves as Sweden's national hockey arena, but also is a venue for events and concerts. But the real agenda of our visit here in this side of Stockholm is to ride the Skyview. We bought our tickets ahead of time via its website. Our schedule is at 1:30 and the ticket costs 170 Swedish krona or around 27 New Zealand dollars. First stop after our ticket was checked was to watch a video regarding the history of the arena. Then we rode the glass gondola. Skyview is the attraction that takes one up along the outside of the Avicii arena, inside two specially designed glass gondolas. As the glass gondola goes up, we get a magnificent view of Stockholm. A gondola has a capacity of 12 people. It took 18 minutes from the time we set foot in the gondola and stepped out of it. The top of the arena is at 130 meters above sea level, giving a spectacular view of the entire city of Stockholm. Since we have spent the morning exploring the old town of Stockholm, we wanted to see the other side of it, the modern one, also known as the shopping districts. At almost 4 p.m., we realized that we haven't had lunch, so we stopped and had a too late for lunch, too early for dinner kind of meal. We then continued to explore the city. It is the last day of 2022, and up to this point, we haven't decided yet where to welcome the year 2023. Our options were either we go back to Gamla Stan, watch fireworks across our hotel by the river, or stay at this park till midnight, or go to Skansen. Finally, we have come to a conclusion. We'll be spending New Year's Eve at Skansen. Arrived here too early, gates open for the event at 8 p.m. Since we were early, we witnessed and enjoyed several rounds of rehearsal. Had another meal of burger and chips, mainly to escape the freezing cold outside. Finally, the actual program has started. We later found out that this event was televised and is the actual countdown for the new year in Sweden. Here are some snippets of some of the performances.
Tack.
Ikväll så kommer vi att få njuta av en massa härliga artister.
3, 2, 1.
We'll take a cup of kindness, yeah, for all lands och leva stark och sann.
har gjort före henne. Och jag tycker inte att Leno...
Lay down and die, you and I. As well lay down and die, you and I.
Där de bor.
A part of Swedish tradition to ring in the new year is the poetry reading of Njarslocken, or Ring Out Wild Bells, just a few minutes before midnight.
Sorgerna och nöden och ring den frusna tiden åt.
And as the clock strikes 12, fireworks lit up the sky in the different parts of the city. Happy New Year! Good morning, and today is the first day of the first month of 2023. And guess where we are headed? To Skansen. Skansen is the world's oldest open-air museum that showcases the whole of Sweden with houses and farmsteads from every part of the country. Our first stop was at the Baltic Sea Science Center, where we got a closer look at the inhabitants of the Baltic Sea. Entrance ticket from the end of November to first week of January cost 245 Swedish krona. Since we visited Skansen twice, it was cheaper for us to get an annual pass for 395 Swedish krona. We were then transported to the historical Sweden. It was like stepping into a time machine and bringing us to the olden times, having a glimpse of their lives during that time. Traditions during Christmas, and getting to know their way of life as described by interpreters in authentic dresses, making it even more realistic. There were also stops for food and snacks as well as souvenirs. A visit to Skansen when in Stockholm is well worth it and totally recommended. We wish we had more time to explore the other parts, but then it is time to move on. Walking distance from Skansen are Tivoli Gröneland, which is an amusement park, the ABBA Museum, the Viking Museum, Spirit Museum, or the Museum of Spirits, which features exhibits on history as well as present trends in Swedish beverage industry, not only of alcohol but the spirits of a nation. Lots of very interesting museums, but we just had to choose one to visit, and the lucky pick was the Vasa Museum. Do note that the museum is cash-free. Entrance fee is 170 Swedish krona, or around 27 New Zealand dollars. One more thing worth noting is that they do have lockers for small bags. Upon entering the museum, we were welcomed with this gigantic ship called Vasa. The visitors get the chance to see the ship at a different angles by going through, I think, 4 floors. A quick summary of the Vasa history. In 1625, 4 new ships were set to be built. Vasa is to be the most powerful warship in Baltic, if not in the world. Year 1627, Vasa was launched. Hundreds of craftsmen worked on it. It was 69 meters long and more than 50 meters tall, weighs over 1,200 tons with 10 sails, 64 cannons, 120 tons of ballast, and hundreds of sculptures. August 10, 1628, Vasa sets off in its first and last voyage. Probably the shortest maiden voyage, it has moved 1,300 meters and no farther. Vasa heeled to port under a gust and water gushed in through the open gun ports. The ship is lying on the seabed 32 meters within minutes. After 333 years, Vasa was finally lifted up. Efforts were then made to preserve Vasa, which eventually led to where the ship is at right now. Vasa Museum, we're on the way to Gamla Stan, with the specific purpose of visiting the Nobel Prize Museum. Google and its website said it is open. But surprise, surprise, it was closed, and we ended up doing some souvenir shopping. At this point, we were really hungry and we are craving for a hearty, full, and satisfying meal. As recommended by a local friend, we walked to the nearest EP9 branch, which took us around 15 minutes, but it was so worth it. With our tummies full, we decided to try and check out the Stockholm Metro art. Stockholm Metro is one gigantic gallery with more than 90 out of the 110 stations featuring artworks created by around 150 artists. We went to the T-Centralen station, or the Stockholm Central Metro station, and saw these. Not quite sure if they are part of the artworks because they don't match the ones in the website. But oh well, we tried. Our feet were so tired by then, so we decided to call it a night. Hello, today is our last day in Stockholm. All packed with some hours to spare, we went to Gamla Stan again for some more last-minute shopping. Then we decided to check out what the inside of the Stockholm Central Station looks like. This is a central railway station of Stockholm with the train connections northern Scandinavia, Oslo in Norway, and Copenhagen, Denmark. At around 2 p.m., we are on our way to the airport on one of the most expensive taxi rides of our trip. Check this out. 4:37 p.m., we are on board a plane that will bring us to our final stop of our trip, Oslo. Thank you for watching.